guys, welcome to Shine with Marilena Cortez and Mark Sedgwick. We are so happy and so excited that you're joining us this beautiful sunny day. Today we are going to be talking about growth because you know here with Shine you grow and glow. But this particular glow is not necessarily to help your flowers grow, because you know we do focus a lot of time on little things that sometimes don't give us back a lot. It's not a big investment. Today we're going to be talking about how to grow financially, how to become money smart, and start saving, especially for our kids, because at the end of the day we all work so hard and we give 100% of our time and our efforts to help our children and give them all the little things and big things that they want in life, right? So let's start with Mark Sedgwick and the quote of the day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again to the show. Good to be back. So the quote of the day comes from Warren Buffett. So what he said is, the more you learn, the more you earn. I know it rhymes, yeah, silly, but it's a good quote. I really like it. It's, you know, the concept of earning more. You know, how do you earn more? You have to have the knowledge in order to earn more in the first place, whether that be financially. You know, it also goes in life as well. You know, the more you learn about exercising, the more better results you will get because you have the knowledge to perform it correctly, right? You know, financially, if you learn to save, you learn to invest, you learn to do all these things that are necessary. You know, I'm still learning myself financially, definitely. I'm only 20, so I have a long way, you know, knowledge path to go. But yeah, that's the quote of the day.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Mark, for sharing that. That is so important, and at a very young age we should learn about this. So I hope that the show today helps a lot of people kind of become a little bit more conscious about the importance of becoming money smart. And with us today we have a very special guest. It's Karina Rodriguez Gutierrez. She is the president of Exfinia Financial Services. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. So what got you started working for or to lead in a company like Exfinia?
Or to be interested in finances, like to be interested in this whole subject. What got you interested?
Well, because we all need to prepare for the future. Regardless of our goals, we all need to prepare. If it's either to buy our first home or to start a new business or to save for our kids' education or to plan for retirement, we all need to prepare and save.
Yes, but what got you started? Was there something going on in your life that made this change, and why do you help others now in this topic?
That's a very, very important question. I used to work for a very important financial services firm, but I noticed that financial services was only focusing on the wealthy, helping the wealthy people. And I realized that not only the wealthy need planning, we all need to prepare for the future regardless of their saving capability and their income capability. So that's why we got started with Exfinia to develop a model where we could help everyone.
I love it. I love it. Yes, because I always thought that me going to a class, I had to be like loaded with money. I was like, okay, those classes are not for me. I don't have a lot of money. I am a single mom living paycheck by paycheck, trying to raise two beautiful kids, you know, and as they got older, I was like, wow, I need more money. How do I do this, you know? So I started on my own, and Mark forgot his piggy bank. I told him to bring his piggy bank because I wanted to show when they were little, I would give them money and they would have their own little piggy bank and start saving money. And then I had my own piggy bank that I don't have anymore because literally we would break the piggy bank, and that was my way. Of course, the bank, it's another route, saving money at the bank. But when you learn, there's other hundreds of ways to save money, and that's why I wanted to invite you. I wanted you to teach us a little bit of what are those other options that we have.
Many options, and that depends on your horizon of saving, your goals, your risk tolerance. It's very important that we develop a plan that is going to get you to your goals. So we consider all of that. There are ways to save for college education. There are ways to save for retirement. We need to consider also the diversification in tax risk. We pay a lot of taxes, but depending on when we pay the taxes, the results we are going to get could be completely different. So we need to make sure we make a plan to minimize taxation within the legal framework so our clients can keep more of that money for retirement.
Wow. Okay. So somebody who has never taken any class, what recommendations? How can they get started?
Well,
With what? Saving or which
Well,
part of
yeah,
it?
just even attending to learn more about these topics, because there's so many sections as you mentioned right now. But where can people go?
yes, and they need to make sure that when they are starting a plan, they need to make sure they have a complete financial plan, not only the investments. We need to take a look at everything. First, we need to make sure that that plan gets strong and solid, and that's only accomplished with protection. We need to make sure that after developing a plan, we are preparing ourselves in case of a contingency. What could that be? What do I mean about protection? What if we are saving, very organized, we are already putting money aside every month, but what if something happens totally out of our control?
You mean like an emergency, like a hospital, you get hurt?
Exactly.
Okay.
What I mean is a unexpected death in the family, a long-term illness, an accident. It doesn't matter how perfect or how exact the plan was. It's not going to get accomplished because we didn't have all that time to save. So while we are in the accumulation phase, we must have protection. So in case something happens, this protection is going to fill this gap and this financial plan is going to get accomplished.
So what do you mean protection? Like store it in a
insurance,
bank or insurance, some kind of insurance?
Could be life insurance, but not only protection in case of a premature death, also in case of a long-term illness. Because being realistic, the risk of passing young is slimmer. The real risk we have is developing a long-term illness, at least temporarily during our working years.
Yeah.
So we
like
need,
for me, last year with cancer.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that was a surprise visit, and I wasn't ready, so I had
So, yeah.
to do 100 other ways to
Yeah, I
have
think
the money.
that's one of the biggest importance on saving money, in general is just, you never know what's going to happen in life. Something you'll never expect. Cancer, breast cancer is like, what in the world? This came out of nowhere, right? Or, like if somebody passes in your family, you have to pay for all these different funeral, this and that, and hospital bills, you have to, that's the big importance of saving. I think that's a big, message is to save, save for emergency. But then what happens once you get beyond that path of saving? Then you have money that you can spend on maybe investments, is that, I think that's a big thing we should talk about as well, is investing.
yes, the first thing is establishing the proper protection. A policy that not only pays if I pass, it pays also if I get sick. Once that has been established, that means our financial plan now is solid and strong. Now we go to the next category, which is managing debt. In this country, we all have debt, but there's good debt and not so very good debt. So we
Yeah.
need to analyze it. For example, if it's credit cards, we know that those are very expensive. We need to develop a plan to pay them as soon as possible. But what could be a good debt? For example, the home, a mortgage, if we have a good credit. So we analyze all the debt and we make sure which one we need to pay as soon as possible or which one we need to pay as it is scheduled. Once the debt has been optimized, then we need to build an emergency fund. Very important to have an emergency fund. What is an emergency fund? At least 3 to 6 months of monthly expenses in a liquid
Yeah.
reserve in case something happens. What if I lose my job?
Yeah.
What if I'm in an accident and I cannot work for 2 months? I have my reserve to react intelligently. And
a good
once
point.
all that has been established, then we can go to medium and long-term investments.
Yeah.
That's why we need to take a look at the whole financial plan, not only investments. We need to consider the proper protection first to make the financial plan solid. We need to manage properly the debt. We need to have liquid funds, a reserve, and then we can go into medium and long-term goals.
That's
So
right.
as for medium to long term goals, like what kind of things Are we talking about like maybe investing in like the business you always wanted to make, or investing in a home, or I don't know, for maybe advertising your business? What kind of investments are we talking about? Like after, what do you mean by medium and long-term investments?
Let's assume we are a young family and we want to save for our kids' education.
Oh, okay. College is another big
So
one. Yeah.
it's years ahead, but we need to prepare. The sooner we start preparing, the easier it's going to be, the less effort is going to take, and the bigger chances of success we're going to have because we have more time. So we can save little because we have a lot of time, it's going to take less effort. If we start a few years before he or she is going to college, it's going to take a lot of effort.
Yeah. I think that's a big point. Starting sooner than later is always the best
Yes.
choice, right?
And that's what the reason I wanted to invite you, because you're the expert. You are going to be able to give us some tips in the next segment, but also because we had some really bad news a few shows ago. A student came and she spoke with us. Actually, she joined us via a phone call, and her father came because the government is taking away a lot of the government funding. The grants,
Financial aid.
financial aid, and the private scholarships. Those are always going to be funded, and they're going to be supported by private business. But the actual government funding, it's in danger.
Yeah.
So I would like to help parents stop and think how important it is for us to start saving early and not wait till the last minute. Because it's not easy. I have 2 kids in college right now at the same time, and so my daughter's getting ready to go back to college because she's getting her master and her doctorate degree at the same time in Austin, and so that creates a whole new extra triple expenses that I wasn't counting on. So I was like, wow, this is really important for me. It's close to my heart, and I want to help others, parents and whoever is connected with children or helping kids grow. I really wanted you to come and share some more information and tips. So we're gonna have to go on a short break right now. Join us in a few minutes because Ms. Karina is going to give us some very important tips on how we can start saving and how can we do it and be ready for our children in the future. We'll be right back.
Alrighty.
Hi friends, welcome back. We are here discussing finances and how to be prepared for the education of our children in the future. How can we become money smart and start saving the money we need to get our kids to college? So with us we have Kenya Gutierrez Rodriguez, and she's
It's
here.
Karina.
I'm
Come
sorry.
on. It's okay.
What did I
You
say?
got this. You say it's okay.
But we are so happy that you're here with us today because you're the expert. You have a business to help others in their financial future. So we wanted you to share some tips to help the parents and help even just people in general, how important it is to start saving early, and we're ready to listen to your tips.
Yes, and we were talking about college education. Let's assume that's our goal. There are different ways to save for college, but there are some ways where the money is being restricted only for education, and I'm a fan of flexibility.
Flexibility of the money.
Exactly.
Okay.
Flexibility of the purpose of the money. Because if we invest only in 529 plans, that money is dedicated for education and education only. And if we don't use the money for education, when we pull the money, we will end up paying a 10% penalty and taxes on the growth of that money. So there are other ways to save where it's also the same tax treatment. It's a tax advantage strategy, which means we don't pay taxes on the growth of the money, and we can pull the money tax-free, but that money is flexible. We can save it for education, but if at the end, what if my kids get scholarships? What if they get a grant? What if they don't want to study?
Yeah, they don't want to study. That happened to a friend of mine.
What if they change their mind?
What if they
That's
change their mind?
definitely
What if they go to study in Europe? We never know. Then that money can be used for another purpose, perhaps for my retirement, perhaps to start a new business. I love flexibility. I love that we can save for our kids' education, but if at the end we don't need the money for that, we can use it for another purpose without any penalty, without paying any taxes.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I had a friend who saved money. They've been saving since the little boy was like 3 years old, and but you know what? Unfortunately, the child never went to college. He never wanted to study or go to college, but he has a business. So they were kind of stuck with the money, and then they took it out and they had to pay penalties.
Wow.
And so
That's
I don't know
horrible.
the program, what the name of the program is, but that actually happened to somebody I know.
Yes.
So it's
it's-
important that is flexible. I love that you said that word. I like anything that's actually flexible.
Yes, and there are ways to do that. Also, there are ways where we can protect our principal. The market is always going to be volatile. It's going to have good years, it's going to have not very good years. But let's assume we start here, and the market goes up 3 years, and now we are here. But on year 4, the market goes down. The worst thing that is going to happen to this money is that year is not going to grow. It's going to stay flat. But I don't go down to where I started or below. I just stay there. When the market starts performing again, from here, I'm going to go up. When it goes down, I stay flat. So if I can make my savings to grow in this shape, it's way more efficient than having the yo-yo effect of the market, because recovering from a loss takes time and
Takes
effort.
time, yes.
That's another thing that we need to consider.
So we are here trying to grow and glow. Grow in the sense for our finances, how to become more money smart. I love that you said the word flexibility because a lot of people think that there's only one way or two ways to save money.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so going to classes, going to trainings, I was at one of your workshops and I was fascinated with it and I want to learn more. So where can people go to learn and take some of these classes?
We offer complimentary financial education seminars. We believe a lot in education. We believe that people want to prepare for the future, but they are just making the best decisions they can with the information they have. We believe that if we share basic financial concepts, we will give them the tools for them to make better financial decisions. So at least once a month, we will offer these free complimentary financial education seminars. The next one, we are going to have it on April 6th in the area of Copperfield at Total Wine at 6 p.m. So it's easy to remember. Close to Highway 6 in the Copperfield area, Total Wine, the 6th of April at 6 p.m.
Yes, and how can you reach Karina? I'm going to hold her information. It's kind of like having a big card for you to take some information, some data before. How do I hold it like this?
You good? You
so
got
it
it?
could be pretty and straight.
I have a comment if I can go
Yes.
and comment. So on the thing about how what were we talking about? We were don't let me lose my what were we talking about?
Financial
What was she just the
college savings.
Oh yeah. So something along those lines. Yeah. So oh yeah, it was about the importance of saving. So the saving thing, it's like we save and then it's a safety net. I think that's the whole point. Is so that if something happens, you're not gonna totally be homeless or totally, it's a safety net for you to then. I think you shouldn't get too caught up on saving. Save, and I think that's a huge thing. But then once you get past that and you're safe, safe. Some people take risks when it's not safe, investment wise, right? But I think it's so important. Don't just save. Also, don't forget to invest in yourself. Learning through the that's what I was going to say. Learning through her program or the programs, financial programs is a great way. Talk to people who have money, who have made money before, right? I think that's a huge comment.
Yes.
So we'll be right back with the show after these messages.
Hi friends, welcome back. We are here discussing this important topic about how to become more money smart. And we have our friend Karina who's joining us. She is the expert and the founder of Exfinia Financial Services. One of the things that we always don't want to talk about is we have to age. Time goes by, we get older, and sometimes we're not prepared. And we're not prepared in any in any form. You know, we don't like the wrinkles, we don't like the way that we are, but unfortunately we're going to get there. So what would you recommend to our listeners? What are some of the ways that we can be prepared financially and be ready to be more independent financially? We don't have to depend on our kids or our aunts or
government?
uncles or the government.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good question. The sooner we start, the better. The largest asset we have is our time. And that's the only asset we cannot ever recover. So the sooner we start, the better, the easier it's going to be. Now, let's not concentrate on, what I didn't do in the past. No, let's concentrate on what I can do today
On the present, yeah.
and what I can do in the future as well. Let's take action now. And it's very important that we realize that we need to prepare properly, because also we are living longer and longer. Thanks to the advances of medicine, it's not rare that we live up to age 85, 90, 95. It's not rare anymore. That's why pensions are fading away, because companies cannot support us 30 years in retirement. Social Security is under stress because we are living too long. We don't know if it's going to exist in the future, and if it does, it's going to be very minimal. It's not going to help us to maintain our standard of living. So what do we have left as a source, as secure source of retirement income? Our personal savings.
Yeah.
And that money that we accumulated over 20, 30 or more years of hard work, they need to last another 30 years in retirement. It requires a lot of planning. And the sooner we do it, the better. And we don't need to wait until we have a lot of money sitting in the bank ready to be invested. We can start with any amount. But let's put that money to work as efficiently as possible, as quickly as possible. Because time is the one thing we cannot waste.
Yeah, that's right. And as she was talking, she was making me think, it's like, okay, when do I really get started? And when you said it's never too late, today is the day you can start saving.
Start saving, yeah.
And start becoming and I call it money smart, because it's simple, it's better understood. When people say, financial services, it sounds so fancy and people think, that's not for me.
Yeah.
But you can become money smart.
Yeah.
And you should become money smart. I tell my students, if your parents are giving you $1 for an allowance, take at least 10 cents and save it. Start saving, start teaching our kids young. My son is super good, by the way. You're super good at saving.
Yeah.
And he's been a lifesaver. He'll save money from the allowances that he's been given, and he keeps it very well managed,
Yeah.
and has invested on coins.
Yeah, I think all this
Share
is...
a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have invested in like a coin before, which I made, a few $100. It's not much, but to a kid, I'm 20 now, but I'm not so much a kid. But to me, it's quite a big investment to make that much money on something you didn't really have to, put that many hours of work into, right? But so yeah, as we were saying, I think it's so big to save. You're saying, man, you're so good at saving, this and that. But at the same time, of course, you need to save, because that's the safe thing to do. Because if you don't, and something happens, you're in trouble. You're in serious trouble, because you have nothing to go back on. You have no treasure chest to be like, I can just, here's a coin to pay for my bill. No, you need to be able to save. But at the same time, don't be afraid to go into that treasure chest and come out with a gold coin and invest it in yourself, invest it in your knowledge.
That's right.
Whether it's formal knowledge through college, whether it's formal knowledge through different financial services, whether it's informal knowledge through YouTube videos, through your family talking to you, just people you can look up to. I think you just need to look at all the different avenues, and definitely save, but definitely don't hesitate to invest in yourself and invest in your family and things that actually matter as well.
Things that matter, yes. And I just want to say thank you, Karina, for coming today and visiting and sharing some of your knowledge. If you want to reach out to her, please, we're going to put here her information. She is the president of Exfinia Financial Services. Reach out to her, ask her questions, and she can also give you information about her next workshop, which is coming this April, correct?
April 6th. And don't be afraid. Let's just start saving, and don't be afraid. Could be done very easily. Anyone it won't cost you anything.
That's right. And I want to end today with a very special gift that I got from a colleague. She found it and put it in my box.
Oh, wow,
And I'm
that's
gonna
cool.
hold it right there. It says, "Shine like the whole universe is yours." And with today's message, you can only do that if you start becoming money smart. If you start investing in the things that matter and putting your money in a safe place, but also investing in other areas. And the only way you're going to learn that is by attending some workshops and getting educated with a company like Xfinia. So shine bright in everything you do. Don't forget that we do this show to help us grow and shine and glow and be a light in this world. Until next time, we'll see you then, and be blessed.
Adios, everybody. Have a good one.